Hey, how's it going? Ryan here from GME Fitness. I'm a black belt in Judo, purple belt in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, and today I'd like to take a look at some level changes and how they relate to the grappling arts. So pretty excited to share this with you. I will say that this isn't a technique video. What it is simply to show you that by practicing movements that are similar, it can help you with your grappling arts, whatever style that might be for you. The beauty about the movements that I'm going to be showing you is that these can allow you to train those in between positions where you might be compromised in terms of strength, flexibility, or control. And you can focus on those movements and really get strong so that when you go back to your grappling, when you find yourself in that position, you're able to use it more effectively. And what I like to do is I like to take a look at three ranges. We're going to look at standing, we're going to look at mid-range, and then we're going to look at floor. The cool thing about these particular movements is that it can become a form of solo grappling, if you will. We're going to get started by first taking a look at the standing positions. What we're going to do right now is just take a look actually at that movement that I just showed you. And just focus on stepping the leg high and finding the balance. And from here, letting the foot slide to the ground and dropping. So this particular movement, super easy, should be easy. You can then sophisticate that movement, dropping the foot to the ground and sitting into it, keeping the foot high, letting that foot fall from there. And then finding your balance, twisting out of it. From here, twisting this way. Working on that awareness, finding balance, control, so that when you then work on the actual technique in your martial art of whatever that might be, a reap, a sweep, whatever, you have better balance. And that means having better strength, flexibility, and control in that movement. This is just one example of how you can train yourself to gain that strength in the legs, that flexibility in the hips and the ankles, in the entire lower structure, so that when you put it into action, you can perform that particular technique even better. So now let's take a look at the mid-range. And for the mid-range, all I want you to think about is being in a squat position. From here, a good example, if we were to think about in terms of grappling, would be a basic leg drag. And so starting here, as we would pull the leg across the body, and from there, work on going into whatever technique that is afterwards, going knee on belly, mount, whatever. This is also coming down to the fact that we're shifting weight and we're also performing a level change as well. And when we're performing this, we're loading one side of the structure, being solid on one side of the structure to allow us to access movement in the other side of the body. And so by practicing these particular level changes, and focusing on building your strength, building the flexibility you need, that's going to help with the control in order to allow you to access those techniques. So once again, this isn't simply about moving forward this way. Weight transfer, twisting the body slightly, making sure that you do have the strength to be able to access your techniques. You have the flexibility in whatever range of motion that is that you need, and you're able to perform that safely so that when you put yourself under load, for example, someone's there, you're grappling, you want to make sure that you're confident in those movements outside of sparring with your partner so that when you move into the grappling portion of it, you do have that physical autonomy to be able to access your techniques. All right, so we talked about that top range, we talked about the mid range. Now we're going to talk about the lower range. And in this case, it's about moving to the floor. And what I'm going to show here is just thinking about if we're in a squat position at mid-range and we address the floor. Now, I'm not saying that this is a technique that you want to be working on and using it in your grappling game. It's simply an example to show that engagement of the floor. So, for example, if we were in a squat, and it shifts where we're sitting here, possibly moving forward. Okay? So, again, try and move beyond thinking that that is a particular grappling technique. Think of it simply as a transition, moving from mid-range to the floor and then transitioning around on the floor. So, again, from this mid-range, we could even look at just moving from side to side, engaging the floor this way. So, many different ways to do that. And the more that you can explore these movements, the better off you're going to be. And it's just going to allow you to have more tools in your toolbox so that you can actually use the proper tool for when it's necessary. Many different ways to move in and out, depending on what's going on, where you are, moving from here, even moving and rolling. We're twisting, whatever position that might be. If you need to move and twist, this is all about how well do you move without someone trying to crush you. Do you have that understanding of being able to go from top to mid to bottom range and then back up again in all different positions? Break them down into patterns, if you will. Twists. Focus on sitting in and out of positions. Twisting. And again, I'm not thinking about specific techniques. However, once you see these other patterns, you'll find certain things popping out in terms of techniques. Whether it be threading the leg in order to set yourself up for back control. Whether it be anything. So to finish up this video, I'd like to say there's a lot of flashy techniques out there, but it has to build on the basics. And if you don't have those basics down, you're not going to have access to those flashy techniques. Let's be honest, when it comes to grappling, when you're rolling, when you're sparring, typically it's not those flashy techniques that you actually are able to perform. It's the basics. And focusing on the basics and looking at level changes in those transitions that I was referring to earlier, that's what's going to help you to be even better with the basics. So I hope you enjoyed this video. Let me know if it helped you as well. It would be really cool if you shared a video of yourself working on some level changes and some transitions. Doesn't matter what it is, just love to see anything that you're doing and let us know what martial arts you're doing. I always love talking about martial arts. It doesn't just have to be about grappling. It can be really any martial art out there. So please leave a comment, keep practicing, keep training, keep enjoying. Thanks for watching. Be sure to subscribe to the channel. Check out some of the other videos we have. They're pretty good.